And for our last talk in this session, we have Qian from Coinbase, who will be talking to us about smart contract governance.
I'm Tina. I'm from Coinbase, and I am a blockchain security engineer at Coinbase. And today I'm going to talk about smart contract governance. So as a refresher, governance is a method for the community to make changes to a system. And for DeFi specifically, it is a way for everyone to decide on the path a DeFi project will take. And also it is a way to decide on what actions to take. So normally there are two types of governance. One is off-chain. So for off-chain governance, it is normally pretty unstructured. We have everyone discuss offline on online forums or social media, and they decide on a path from there. And then for on-chain governance, there are different types. So one of them is we have miner and staker nodes signal their decision. And we can also perform governance through smart contracts. So proposals and votes are made through smart contracts. And today, DeFi governance is mostly done through smart contracts. So how it works is that it starts with a off-chain discussion. The community upvotes or downloads a proposal through a forum. And once that proposal has enough traction, the changes for that proposal will be submitted to a smart contract, and people can vote for or against that proposal using their governance tokens. And normally, one governance token equals to one vote, which means the more tokens you have, the more voting power you have. So what can governance do? It can do many things, such as minting tokens, blacklisting accounts, taking funds away from accounts. It can also perform upgrades to the protocol. And so it can also perform variable changes, such as increasing or decreasing of fees, or so on and so forth. So what can go wrong? I'm going to first talk about the beanstalk hack. So how the beanstalk governance works is that it requires 35% of stock tokens to vote. So at least a third of total stock tokens are required to participate in voting for a proposal for that proposal to go through. And of course, we need to have more for votes than against votes to execute this proposal. And to start voting for a proposal, there is a 24-hour delay first. And there's a 5-day period for people to start voting. And for emergency changes, such as security bug fixes, there is a function called emergency commit, where the changes for that proposal can be executed immediately. And for that to happen, we need at least 2/3 of a supermajority. And if you go on Etherscan, unfortunately, I can't show that right now. We can see that the token distribution is pretty decentralized. And so basically, on the top token holders, they only have less than 1% of the token. So we know that no single actor can unilaterally pass a proposal. So it looks like this protocol is pretty secure. But what happened was an attacker made a flash loan and drained the liquidity pool. Their proposal went unnoticed, and after that 24-hour delay period, they were able to call the emergency commit function and drained the liquidity pool. And fortunately, The Beanstalk project is still with us today. And I'm going to talk about another hack, which is the Build Finance hack. And this project was a little more unfortunate versus the Beanstalk hack. So after this attack, the price of a Build token dropped to 0.3 cents. And at its peak from 2021, it was $100. So we can see that this attack was super devastating. So there were two attempts by the attacker. The first proposal failed, but the second proposal went unnoticed. So the Build Finance's Discord bot was unable to catch this proposal. So no one was alerted. And this attack was actually pretty simple. The honest community, they did not have enough time to countervote this malicious proposal. And then this proposal just went through. And what the attacker did was that they made themselves the mint authority. And then they also made the governance super user wallet to point to their own wallet address. And then they just minted themselves a bunch of Build tokens and sold them for profit. And I can't show this Etherscan screenshot here, but basically the against votes were very close to the for votes. So if the community had a little bit more time, this proposal wouldn't have passed. And if you look at the previous honest proposals, there actually aren't that much activity going on. There are not many people who participated in voting for proposals. And so one potential mitigation here is to have a guarding account to veto malicious proposals. Because Build Finance, they mostly relied on counter votes. No one was able to do anything. Or if the voting period was long enough for everyone to react, then this may have been prevented. And another thing about Build Finance's governance is the minimum quorum of another thing, Build Finance, how Build Finance's, and for a proposal to pass in the Build Finance's governance is that at least five to the power of 23 votes are required to have to be supportive of a proposal for it to succeed. And if we look at the token distribution, we can see that there are token holders that do meet that number of tokens to pass a proposal unilaterally. So for secure governance, it is strongly recommended that we have a quorum such that over 3 actors are required to pass a proposal. And to reiterate, long voting periods are recommended, and also an execution delay for guardian accounts or the community to react to malicious proposals. And of course, audits are also strongly recommended to prevent any bugs. And there are other thoughts for secure governance as well. One is quadratic voting power, meaning subsequent tokens a user holds will have less voting power. However, the downside to that is a single actor can create multiple wallets to increase their voting power versus having a one wallet. And also having one address equal to one vote wouldn't work either, because it is super easy for a single actor to generate millions of fake accounts, or in this case, addresses, to vote for the malicious proposal. And for Ethereum, there are gas cost concerns, but for other chains, it is not resistant to Sybil attacks. And again, thank you for listening. Sorry again, that we had technical difficulties, so that I wasn't able to present slides. Does anyone have any questions?
Thanks, Tina. Yeah, so maybe to start with a question, I'm curious if there are projects that you think have done governance right, and from a security perspective. If there's anything you want to call out.
Yeah, so one is actually Aave. Our initial strong governance definition was based on Aave. So Aave required a 20% voting quorum, and if you look at the rich list of Aave, there's no single actor that can achieve that 20%. And it also had a voting differential of 15%. So what that means is that there has to be 15% more for votes than against votes. So it's not split to 50-50. For a concrete example, you need, if 20% of tokens participated in the vote, we need at least 17.5% of for votes. And they also have a multi-sig guardian account to veto malicious proposals, and they have a long enough voting period and execution delay.
Thanks. Any other questions for Tina?
I have a question in regards to the anonymous structure of proof-of-stake networks. So how is it that we should trust anonymous governance votes when it's not transparent, and we have to basically believe that the group here is not coordinating with this group over here, and it's not all just a small group of whales that are basically dictating the outcome of a vote proposal? And this ties back into the whole collapse of Terra, which they sold a bunch of BTC for AVAX, and then they were moving from one V3 pool and Curve to the other V3 pool or 4, the whole Curve war thing. So how can we trust anonymous governance is the question.
Right. So that's a good question. I would say it's kind of a hard problem to solve, which is why you want the quorum to require more actors. So maybe it's easy for 2 actors to collude versus 3. And on top of that, you would have the guardian account to veto proposals. So we can have whales requesting ridiculous changes to a protocol, but if you have like a trusted guardian account that can veto that proposal, this can also mitigate it. But I guess there's also the problem of this guardian account is centralized, but it is still infinitely better than having whales collude to make changes their way. Does that answer the question?
So the follow-up is that the centralized aspect is the worrisome part, and why not have a transparent structure? Like 50 people.
Sorry, what was that?
The centralized aspect of it is the worrisome part. So why not have just a larger transparent governance system, which has like 50 non-anonymous people?
Well, the whole point of this is to have the entire community to participate. So having just 50 known actors sort of exclude everyone else who also wants to participate. I guess they can also verify their identities, but that also sort of defeats the purpose of people wanting to participate anonymously. It's still a pretty hard problem to solve. We're still trying to figure out what is the best way to perform governance.
Cool. Thanks, Tina.